Welcome to another episode of That's What They Said, a podcast where we question the questionable lyrics of your favorite songs. Sarina&Scott, Spinelli talking Bawitdaba by Kid Rock. I am not speaking gibberish. That is the actual title of this song.
You know, it's a little note about that is that I think it must have been me because you're much more specific than I am. I wrote in our notes section, I wrote like Kid Rock song, any of them. But then it occurred to me, like, I don't think I know any other. I mean, I'm sure I do once I heard them, but this was the song I was thinking of. I just didn't remember exactly. I was like, it's some sort of like gibberishy Baba Black Sheep, the Kid Rock remix or something. Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I forgot the exact name of it, but yes, the gibberish.
My cousin, I'm 11 years older than my cousin, so he was like born when this song came out. I was like 10, 11, and I thought, I was like, oh, he could learn the lyrics to this song because it sounds like gibberish. Bawa baba, and I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. This to me, Kid Rock, I don't know about your relationship with this song, but when this song came out, and we go back to like the TRL days often, but that was really the place for us to learn about songs that maybe weren't on the radio, although it ended up all kind of transferring together.
Well, not on the radio that you and I listened to.
Correct. Yes.
Because the irony for me, I'm sure, as we had similar music tastes, although we grew up in very different areas. I grew up in an area that looks like your shirt, quite frankly. Is that I actually found that MTV TRL did not represent the music I liked. So I learned about other music.
Yes.
Like there wasn't a lot of like rap that I was super into that was like charting on TRL.
No, it wasn't until later, like the Nellies, the Ludas, that really got in there. But
and even that, I like their stuff. Don't get me wrong, but like you will never hear me personally like actively going back to listen to a Nelly album. If some of his singles come on, like some of the singles are great, but like things like that, like I was always like Ja Rule. I liked Ja Rule's guy who got on there, but it was more like poppy rap.
But it was later on too.
Yes,
like, we didn't really start to see that happen. And so when Kid Rock, his song Bawitdaba hit MTV and TRL charts, I was like, oh, this guy's kind of like a little more hip. Like this sounds a little more. It sounded different to me. He stood out. I don't know, sort of the way that like Aerosmith collabs with Run DMC, but in a way trashier version of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a good point, really. It's very much a like it's a hybrid song. You know, it's not just rock. It's not, obviously I wouldn't call it a rap song, but it's like rock rap, which is that in the line of that like Limp Bizkit sound as well. That was
the beginning of all those guys, right?
Exactly. I will say right off the bat, and to be clear, this is not a song that's in my repertoire. I do not listen to it, but right off the bat, this intro, super hyped.
Oh,
I mean, super hyped.
The level that it just keeps growing. Yes. And then he walks in and he's like, my name is Kid. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to the party.
And you know what I thought about with that too, is that really felt like a very rap thing. Like I'm not like comedians have made this joke forever, but like you never heard a Beatles song start up with like, they never shouted out their own names on the song. You know what I mean? Like there was never, that doesn't happen really in rock and roll. Jimi Hendrix never said his own name on a track. You know what I mean? But like every rapper always has to let you know who they are, what clique they represent, what city they're from. It's like a full Wikipedia entry before you can even get into the song. That doesn't happen in rock. Well, let me rephrase. Maybe it happens sometimes. It certainly doesn't happen nearly as often. So the fact that he starts off the song with, hey, and this was his, I think this is another thing that's nice about doing this. I didn't know him really. I'm sure you were the same. Like when I heard this song, I go, oh, I guess this is his first song, right? Like,
no,
I think it was like his fourth
album.
Yes.
Like, where were you? But again, this was not on our radar.
No, but that's why I think that it kind of made sense that it was his first like huge song.
Yeah.
And it made sense. Like, hey, he's just reintroducing himself to people. Like it was kind of a smart marketing play to do that. Although it does make it seem like he just arrived, and he clearly had not just arrived at that point.
It kind of like in one of our past episodes, E40, and when they had their song "Tell Me When to Go," and they figured out the hyphy movement, and they sort of established, if you're listening to Oakland hip hop, here's what You Should Know. It's the same
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Like Kid Rock is like, I realize this is my 4th studio album. There are some people that already are aware of me, but now that Carson Daly is going to talk about me a little bit more, here I am.
Yeah.
I'm
It's like a Kid Rock for beginners, you know,
yeah.
Kid Rock for dummies.
Yes. That's actually a lot of the lyrics, man. That makes more sense now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was released in 1999, his 4th studio album, Devil Without a Cause. So we go billboards. This song was it peaked at 84 in Germany. In New Zealand, those Kiwis, they love them. Number
Yes.
7.
Yep.
But here in the US, it only hit alternative airplay on the Billboard charts for peak number 10, and then mainstream rock, it peaked at number 11. I was a little surprised. I didn't find that it hit.
I agree. And like I read something similar where people were a little surprised by that because it's sort of universally regarded as his biggest song.
Yes.
You know, it's not like that's not just like our opinion as people who don't like, because yeah, I will always say like, yeah, I don't know Kid Rock's catalog. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
I don't know any of it. So like, you know, the fact like it was ranked by like VH1 as like one of the top 50 rock songs of all time or something, like whatever. So like it's clearly a song that people know, but yet it also in its own time didn't really chart. Like that doesn't make sense.
I'm fascinated to see. I believe, and I use the litmus of like Z100 that played a lot of pop music, like general music, hip hop, rock, kind of everything in New York City. And this song played on Z100, but maybe like, you know, we're in New York City or in LA, we're in bigger cities where, you know, that kind of music is just readily available. Versus if you're living somewhere else. That's why I'm fascinated that it peaked on Germany's Billboard charts. It made it over there.
I again, this won't come out for like a month or so, but I was just abroad, and it just feels like, and again, I'm sure they feel the exact same way when they visit us, but it just feels like our culture was just like put into a blender, and it's like backward. Like certain things that happen when you're in other countries, they're not wrong. It's just like that is the reverse of how we do it. And I'm not talking about driving on the other side of the road. I just mean like, oh, you guys like this thing? It's like we like the exact opposite of that thing. And for us, it's totally normal to do it this way. And then same thing as that's like, wait a minute, Germany loves this song? What? Like, okay, sure. I guess.
I mean, I don't speak German. Maybe it just sounds more, you know, like some more German words. Bawitdaba. I don't know.
Yeah, German has a sort of I wouldn't call it a soft romantic language.
No, I don't think it's in that category.
And so this is more of an aggressive, angrier song, which German tends to sound, you know,
Just
not
a
always,
rougher
but
on the ears. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Before we get into the lyrics, because I think the lyrics are basically, they're all about one basic premise.
I didn't know there were lyrics outside of Bawitdaba until I went
I didn't either. I actually thought the lyrics were better than I expected them to be. I had a very low bar, to be fair. But the line, "Now get in the pit and try to love someone," probably the most quotable line of the song. Yeah. Right? I didn't know that the demo version of it was, "Now get in the pit and try to kill someone."
Oh, well, that's
which
very,
they had. Different. He was actually apparently yes, and he was apparently happy. He changed it, and I don't know if you saw that Woodstock. Yeah, I mean, well, did you see that '99 Woodstock documentary on Netflix?
I haven't, but it was referenced here that was like Kid Rock's. I mean, he established himself even more.
It was either 99 or 98, whatever they did it. Yeah. And he comes out as one of the first artists and just lights the place on fire. I think he had like just like a mink coat and no shirt underneath. And like, you know, it's really hot. Looks like a lunatic. But the point though is that like people were getting hurt in those mosh pits and like they were having problems. Yeah. So like it was already amped up. And if he said kill someone, back the way that seemed to have been going, people might have taken him literally and just, hey, I have the Kid Rock defense. Yeah,
listen to the man with the mink jacket. Like it's just...
when they're in court, Your Honor, my client clearly, as the end of the chorus says, was instructed to get into the pit,
right,
and try to kill someone.
It's like so dangerous video games. Yeah, same.
Exactly.
Well, let's get to the lyrics. Although it is funny, going back to your point, Woodstock. I think it was 99. Imagine you're Kid Rock, and this is sort of again the first time, like you've been around for a little bit. But sort of like people say, when you get into your 30s and 40s, you just stop giving a damn after a while. So if this guy's now
Sure.
into it, like, I've been here for a minute, I'm done trying to pretend I'm this guy or this guy. I'm growing my hair out. I went to the thrift store. I found this cool hat and a mink coat. I'm just going to wear this because I don't give a damn. And that's how he carried himself, really. It was like, I got sunglasses on. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I'm going to go out there and smoke some weed, smoke a cig, whatever you want, drink a bottle, and I'm going to do my thing. And
It was
that's
very,
what sold it.
it was kind of like it was very Macklemore in that way. It
I
was
was
like
just thinking of him. Yeah.
he had his own style and he did not care. But to that point, like I remember people thinking, maybe I'm wrong, but I remember people thinking of Limp Bizkit as kind of a poser group. Whereas like at times, like Kid Rock, love him or hate him, what it's felt to me, and I think you're agreeing with this, right? Felt undeniably himself, right? Like there was like whatever like that, like in the same way that Andre 3000, like no one would prescribe, hey, maybe wear a green felt hat and shoulder pads with nothing else. Like, right? He
Right.
looked like a lunatic more often than not, but you never looked at Andre in a video, same thing with Kid Rock, and thought he's wearing something that someone's forcing him to wear, right?
Right.
He's doing this. So you kind of respect it. You know, at a certain point, you're like, this is him. Good for him.
And it was Woodstock 99, July 24th, 1999. And Bawitdaba. That
Okay,
thing.
so here's my main lyrical thing. Okay, this is sort of
Bawitdaba.
an overarching thing.
Okay.
Yes. Is this song the most inclusive song in history? Because
Great
all of
point.
the verses, all the lines are about this. This song is for. He never actually gets into anything. He just tells you who the song is for, right? It's like, and then he lists everybody.
I mean,
Right?
people in jail, women, chicks with beepers, everyone's
Yeah.
included.
I mean, DB Cooper, like there is a, and even food gets involved when he goes, the grits when there ain't enough eggs to cook. Let's see what else is there. The IRS, all you bastards at the IRS, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not saying it's for them. He's ridiculing, and then
He is, but I still think he's saying it's for them because he says,
yeah,
all you bastards at the IRS, for the crooked cops and the cluttered desks.
Yeah.
Like it's for them too. It's for everybody.
And the shots of Jack, caps of
Yes.
meth. Yeah, it's for all whatever you want. I'm here for you.
This is his version of a bottle of red, bottle of white, whatever you're into tonight. This is his version.
I feel like the lyrics are like walking into a thrift store, being like,
again, Macklemore.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Bawitdaba, where many might think this is pure gibberish, was actually a mix-up, right, of Busy Bee making Cash Money, and he used Bang Bang, the boogie to the boogie. This was actually a mix-up of that. Although you wouldn't, when this song came out, there was no way of knowing that.
No, okay. Here's an embarrassing story about me. When I was a kid, I really liked transcribing lyrics. Like I liked like trying to figure out and there was a Busta Rhymes song. I actually purchased the Swizz Beatz album, like his first, and I guess when he was trying to make his own records, right? And Busta Rhymes had a song on there called Andale, which I recommend anybody checks out. It's very good. And I submitted the lyrics. I think it's still online somewhere to official hip hop. I don't remember what this OHLA, OHHLA.com. And I submitted it from like my mom's email address. Yeah. And so, but it took hours to do, because you had to keep listening back to, like I remember one time we had to transcribe one of our class assignments was to transcribe your favorite song. And at the time, the only song I could do that didn't have a lot of N-words and a lot of curses in it that would be appropriate for school was I'll Be Missing You. And so I remember, honestly, I distinctly remember typing out the lyrics to I'll Be Missing You because you couldn't find that stuff. It just didn't exist.
No, you're absolutely right. I did that a few times actually because I just wanted to know the lyrics of the song. But yeah, now you go on Google, you pull up the lyrics, and it's very easy to know what things were.
And not only what they were, but what they meant, right? Like,
and what they meant.
because
Like
sometimes you could,
Bawitdaba.
exactly, because sometimes you could get the liner notes for the CD and it would say something like, you might be lucky enough and the lyrics would come in the liner notes or in the tape of the
Yes, if
CD.
you got the CD and yeah, they would have the lyrics, which were also
Sometimes,
very tiny.
I mean, microscopic for ants. But the other thing is that they didn't have an explanation. So now obviously
Yeah.
Genius does that. But think to me that's really dope about a site like Genius is beyond the fact that there's contributors explaining it. Sometimes the actual artist will have logged in and there's like a green check when that person goes, yep, that's what I meant. Or actually it's about this, that, and the third. Like that is so cool that we have access to that now. And that's the end of my sentence.
No, that's great. And that when the artist has a green check and it's verified, they didn't pay $8 to put that check up.
Again, 6 weeks from now, this may be a very dated thing, but yes, I agree with you.
Whatever. Elon Musk, I just couldn't care. Okay. Bawitdaba. Yeah, when I first heard we were talking about this, the beginning of the song, we get into the lyrics, that build up to the Bawitdaba, it starts low and then it increases until you're about to explode, and then Kid Rock just goes, "My name is Kid Rock." Oof. Like I would love to walk into any house party and push a button and just, here I am, and then everyone just celebrates.
Rita. And if people are looking at the
What the hell is wrong with you, girl?
girl from Bally Sports,
Yeah, go sit down. You're too loud.
just go make a podcast with your friend that no one cares about. Okay, the hell are you doing? Actually, can I just, one other side note to that is I was only able to execute this correctly once, but in New York they used to have, I don't think they really have them anymore, but those touch tunes, right, where you could, a digital jukebox essentially, right? But you could pay to have yours played next. And so at one bar we knew we already had it saved. So like if we knew we were walking in, we would play something and then so that we could get it so that it was really just me. I could get it so that it played as I walked in. Oh my God. That was the coolest feeling. It was either Nas, If I Ruled the World, or it was, oh no, Big Pun, Still Not a Player. And that was playing as I walked in. It was like my own entrance music for the bar. I almost started like, it was the coolest. You could have told me shit. I was like Tom Cruise in Cocktail, flipping drinks, and I was awesome. I felt I was on fire that night.
You were either on fire or you were like the Biggest Loser. It was one or the two.
Oh, I'm talking about in my mind.
Oh,
because
in
my mind, I was on fire. In reality, it was what you just said. It was the latter. 100%. It was 100% both. Up here, I was living the dream.
Imagine you and your little pep step, like just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, because in the reality is that I basically just cut in front of a bunch of people, and everyone's like, "The fuck is it? Like, what happened here?"
His song is playing. Oh, okay. Let him in.
And the rest of the music is like country music the rest of the day. I'm the only one who wanted one hip hop. It like doesn't fit at all with the vibe of the bar, but I got to get my song in there,
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyway.
So as for the rest of the lyrics, I did note the G's with the 40s and the chicks with beepers, only because it's such a dated reference. Beepers were around for, I don't know, 5 years? 5?
I don't know, but I think we're in that age range where we either had one or had an older friend or sibling who had one.
And you'd be like, oh shoot, my mom needs me to call because she texted me hello.
Yes. Well, they're almost like if the technology existed, it's almost like what a spy would use in World War II. You know what I mean? Like, because there were like codes, but you can only use a few letters.
Yeah.
Like if something bad happened, which was either, God forbid, someone died, or you needed to get to a phone immediately to find out that you had to get home for dinner, the 911 was the option. You know what I mean? Like,
that was it.
So that could be like, hey, dad's dead, or like, come on home because dinner's ready.
Yeah, I'm tired of waiting for you.
Yeah.
911. I think you could do help and a hello, a hi, or just,
You had such a finite amount of characters. You didn't really have.
We figured out how to communicate though, using this very small device that would hang.
We were big on Did you do the 1-800 call ATT?
No. What?
When you would call and like it was you would call, like I would call you and then it would say, do you accept charges from? But before like it would say that and I'd go, hey dad, can you pick me up at the football game I'm with Ken? And then he would say, no, I'm not going to accept charges, and he'd hang up the phone.
Oh,
You
that's
didn't know about
genius.
that?
No.
Yeah, we didn't make that up. There was a commercial for 1-800-CALL-ATT where it was like making fun of like how expensive calls are, and they just had a baby, and the guy goes, "We out a baby, it's a boy," and they.
I do remember that commercial.
Yeah, that's what that was from.
I never did that. Oh,
Yeah,
but glad you did.
there
Oh
you go.
man. Any other lyrics for you?
Actually, yeah, I was at it. This was the high school I was in at the time.
No, I will not pick you up from that high school.
Yeah.
I also appreciated how many drug references he threw in
Oof.
just to, equalize the playing field.
Yep.
The hookers all tricking out of in Hollywood. That I was like, oh, okay, so Hollywood hasn't changed. Just
No.
kidding. Just kidding.
And no, I hear you. And the methadone clinics. Yeah. There's a
But
lot.
and then he goes, all my homies in the county in the cell block 6. To me, that was where he established I got street cred.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got something, all right.
But get in the pit and try and love someone.
Let's end on a positive note.
Okay. That's the end of the song. I mean, outside of those lyrics, which again, it's very inclusive. Hey, everyone, no matter what you look like, what you've done in your life, what you're still doing with your life, this is for you. The music video, to me, I think I was just fascinated, but I don't know if I ever felt like, wow, I love this video or not. But you watch this guy with like a red hat and leather pants to match. There's certainly a statement about him. And what I appreciated the most is that I learned that his drummer was a woman, which I never would have, outside of
Did
all
not know
the
that.
things and all the disarray that's happening on this random like a junkyard, or like a, what are they called?
Yeah. It's basically
Straight redneck.
I was gonna say the redneck version of a DMX video.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And there's just
Whereas DMX would do it in an
shenanigans
open parking
everywhere.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just what are these called?
I mean,
Like,
really, the Rough Riders anthem video and this are the same. Just one is happening in Yonkers and the other one's happening, in Middle America
trailer
somewhere.
park,
You know what I
in a
mean?
trailer park.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like they're the same vibe, just different cultures.
Yes, I would say so. And then at the end, he's got like, somehow they've established in this trailer park, pull a light here, pull a light here. We'll throw lights together that say Kid Rock. But there's a woman drummer in the music video, and that's where Sylvia Morales, my mother, she loved this song. My mom loves rock. She's a huge rock head. Her favorite band is Foo Fighters. She's dying for us to do one of their songs. Yes. Dave Grohl, that's her like hero.
I don't know your mom particularly well, obviously, but like, I guess I just when I've seen your mom, I've met your mom, obviously, and I've seen pictures of her, and it just, I mean, talk about judging a book by its cover. I would never guess that she would be a big rock fan.
To describe my mother very briefly, she's a tiny 5
That's
foot
part of it. It's
something. She's got white hair. Let her whites grow in. She's in her 60s, and this lady loves rock and roll. But she's a teacher, so she might come off as like, oh, I'm peaceful, I'm quiet. No. Sylvia Morales loves her some rock, and so she loved this song, the video, everything. She was all about it. She was.
That's wild. That is wild.
Yeah.
I thought you were like, because again, you've talked about how like your folks had records and stuff. I would have thought that would have been more of like she would have been more of like a I don't know, like a Carole King. You know what I mean? Like
my parents, I think, really connected because of Carlos Santana. They both love Carlos Santana more than anything else.
The baseball player or the
the musician? Both.
Oh, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. No,
they loved high on base percentages. That was their big thing.
What are your final thoughts on this song?
Nothing. Just I have to say, I guess that I didn't hate this song as much as I was worried I might, because I'm just not a Kid Rock fan. It's a catchy pump up track. Yeah.
Go to the gym and lift some weights. I think my final thought takeaway is I think we kind of hit on it. There's no one else like Kid Rock. I can't think of. I mean, we said
Singular.
Macklemore, but in rock, in grungy, like who knows the last time you showered, his hair, the whole thing, the whole package. Can you think of another person that's like Kid Rock?
No, because I mean, here. Let's put it this way: someone, if we were listened to widely enough, someone would comment on this and say this person's like it. But I guess the better answer is like people. Exactly. But for us, it's more like, all right, among people that we non-rock fans would know, I don't think there is, because again, like Limp Bizkit was like more like Limp Bizkit was like sort of like he was much more of Limp Bizkit. Fred Durst was much more involved, like a shinier image than Kid Rock was.
Well, yeah, he dated Christina Aguilera, so you know it's different.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our final thoughts, and another episode of That's What They Said. Scott Spinelli, Sarina Morales, Bawitdaba, and shout out to all of the people that needed it with the beepers and things like that.